Hi, you all. I had to start it over because it seemed like my lips was moving slower than my words. So let me just back it up a little bit. We're talking about relationships today on Hot Chocolate Conversation. I would not have a Saturday show. Sometime it may be on a Saturday. Sometime it may be today, on a Tuesday. I would just do pop-up shows. I figured that works best for me because sometimes my schedule get a little hectic around here in the house. So I would just be doing pop-up shows. But I want to talk about relationships because I had got 4 emails on relationships. So that's something that I wanted to talk about. And I was talking about when I was in my 20s, I was in a really serious relationship. I'm not going to go into, details about it. If you want to know later, ask me about it. I told you, if I put it on Facebook, you can ask me about it. It's not a big deal to me. But that, to me, was a learning experience. I got out of that, I think, when I was 22, 23. I got from out of that. And I was dating, of course, in my 20s. And then I dated in my 30s. And in, I think, around 32, 33, when I was dating, I started knowing what I wanted. I started knowing what I didn't like, what I wasn't going to accept, the type of man I wanted, everything. I started doing self-evaluation for me. Because I knew I didn't want to keep going through the same mess. And I knew I didn't want to keep attracting the same type of men. So I started doing self-evaluation with me. Yes, I did a lot of praying because I had to make sure that somebody can like me. Somebody can tolerate me. Because I knew I was a handful. I knew this mouth, woo, Jesus, split you in half. I knew it. I knew already that this mouth was something else. Hello. So I knew that I had to, hey Adrian, I knew I had to date Robin. So I started dating me. I started taking myself out. Red Lobster is one of my favorite restaurants. Everybody who know me know I love Red Lobster. I don't care how cheap people say cheap they are, expensive, whatever. I love Red Lobster. Red Lobster was my go-to restaurant. I took myself to the movies by myself. I would sit in that theater and would have me a good time. If I would see comedy, I would laugh. One time I went to the to the show. The man next to me, it was so funny because he was there by himself. But he was like, I'm going to pretend we together. And I scooted over to the next thing because I was like, no, I don't know you. And I'm having a good time with me. I would take myself downtown Chicago. I would just walk around. I would get popcorn, whatever I wanted, ice cream, sit on State Street. It was Marshall Fields then. Sit on State Street by Marshall Fields. I would go on Marshall Fields, just look. Baker Shoe Store. You all who's my age know Baker Shoe Store. I treated myself every Saturday to a pair of shoes because I love shoes. So I dated me. I had to know and self-evaluate myself. I had to know what I didn't like, what I wasn't going to tolerate, what I wanted. When I got into my 40s, well, right before my 40s, I met my husband. And I knew already what I wanted. So everyone before that, and I'm going to say my friend's name, Debbie, I would call them time wasters. I remember me and her used to always have a conversation. And she would say, why do you always call them time wasters? I said, because they wasting my time. They don't want what I want. I said, and I'm sure I'm wasting their time because I probably don't want what they want. So they are time wasters. I use my time wasters right. I spreaded them out because I didn't like being at home by myself. I had a 3-bedroom apartment there by myself. Yes, I call them time wasters. That's what they was. They wasted my time. Nothing against them because I'm sure they probably good guys maybe to somebody else, man or woman, whatever their flavor was. But they wasn't the right person for me. So I only can talk about me. I like talking about stuff that I can relate to. I don't like really talking about stuff that I can't relate to, even though I will. Because I feel I can talk about everything. That's why I got this show. But before I met my husband, everyone else was a time waster. I remember I told one guy, he came to my house and he sat on my couch and I told him, yes, because I'm a very bold person, so what I'm about to say might shock people's system, whatever. I told him, I said, you cannot sit on this beautiful couch, soak up this heat in this apartment, and you ain't trying to help me pay no bills. Because I knew he was a time waster, so that's why I came to him that way. Guess what he did? Got up, walked about my apartment, and that door, when I tell you the doorknob hit him, I boop that door right up, because that's my character. Boop, pushed the door on him, and he was like, itch, and I said, that's why you're walking down the stairs. And you ain't up in here, in this warm apartment. You got to go out there and shovel that snow off your car in the cold, but you ain't going to be up in here, not for free. Nothing was free. I was paying my own heat, paying all my own bills. I dated me. You know what? Let me not get ahead of myself. I dated me for years. I dated me for years. I would look pretty for me. I would put on my perfume for me. I made sure that I had to make sure somebody liked me. I had to learn what somebody didn't like about me. You know, my friends, good friends they are. They might not be friends that today after I said a story. Now I'm just joking. But one of my friends told me, you know, sometimes you can just say what comes out your mouth. You just say what you want. And you just can't do that. I said, really? I said, they going to either take me with this rawness mouth of mine, or they not going to take me at all. She was like, you know, I figure you'll be a good woman, but that is your flaw. That is your flaw. I said, everybody got one. That was me. I always had, still do. Thank God my husband know how to handle it. This mouth. So when I was dating before I got married, because I wanted to get into the story of my husband, before I got married, that's all I did was waste my time with guys. Hung out with them, went on dates, whatever we did it. Time wasters. I say get you a bunch of time wasters so you can know what not to do in your marriage. You can know what not to do in your relationship. When I met my husband on the CTA bus. My husband had no car, so I met him on a CTA bus. I approached my husband. It was something about his flavor. It was something about his swag. There's something about him. I never approached a man in my life. Never. He's the only man I ever approached. And that's why I say I'm talking from what I know. Gave him my number. I was so nervous. I made sure, looked at the number 2-3 times to make sure I had gave him the right number. Looked at my cell phone. Looked at the number. Looked at my cell phone. Made sure. Gave him the right number. He called me in 30 minutes. He say 2 hours. He called me in 30 minutes. Bring it up. I remember when I told my husband, the first time he asked, can he come to my house? I was like, yes, you can come to my house. I said, but I don't have no food in my house. I said, so I don't know what we're going to eat. My husband was like, you know, I got a little money. At the time, he didn't have a job. He was like, I got a little money. I said, well, you know, Aldi's is right there on 63rd. I said, you can go there because I'm upfront. And I feel in a relationship, you should be upfront. I feel when you meet someone, you should be upfront. You shouldn't try to, as my husband say, switch horses in the middle of the race. When in the beginning, you didn't let them know how you was. And then towards the end, you trying to switch the horse up because you don't like what's going on. You should be upfront. My husband came in there with them groceries. I was like, oh, wow, okay. Good. I gave my husband 90-day trial. I put my husband on a 90-day trial like they would put me on a job. I didn't know what my husband was like. He didn't know what I was like. But we was on a 90-day trial. He didn't know he was on a 90-day trial. I thought my husband was going to be a time waster. Put my husband on a 90-day trial. That's why when I tell people, put them on a trial basis. Don't put all your all into it until after they have passed your 90-day completion. Oh, they got a great smile. Let me check that out. Oh, great personality. Let me check that out. Great provider. It didn't take them long to get a job. Let me check that out. Oh my goodness, they good in bed. Check. That's important to me too. But I put him on a 90-day probation because I said if he F up within these 90 days, he gonna be gone. And he probably saying the same thing about me. Well, no, because he had got the best. I mean, really, he didn't say that about me. I mean, he probably did. After 90 days, I knew I wanted to marry my husband. Now, ladies, my husband didn't know if he wanted to marry me. But I knew I wanted to marry him. Because when I used to pray for a husband, one thing I didn't do, I didn't put criteria. Only thing I asked God for when I pray for a husband, I tell y'all the truth. Only thing I asked God for was that he was a great provider and he wasn't a rapist or a pedophile. Everything else, I figure I can work with. Them the only things I asked God for in the husband. I didn't care if he was short. I didn't care if he was a big guy, skin. I didn't care if he was white, black, Chinese. I did not. I didn't care about his race, his size. I didn't care about none of that. My concern was great provider, not a rapist or a pedophile. Because I knew in time, because I love Jesus, I will either win him to Jesus or I won't. He know my motto. We ain't going to heaven or hell together, so you got to serve Jesus for yourself. You know, that's my motto, which he do love Jesus. Thank you, God, that I got someone like that. But I knew after 90 days I wanted to marry my husband. So I told my husband, I said, you need to know what you want to do. He was like, what do you mean? And I'll never forget, I said, I'm giving you 3 more months to ask me to marry you. I said, if you don't know in 3 months, if you want to marry me, we're not meant to be together. Because you're not going to waste my time. We are too old to be playing pussyfooting around. We too old to be trying to figure out what we're going to do. Now, that is my criteria. I don't judge nobody. I don't. But that's Robin criteria. I knew my self-worth. I knew that I wanted to be somebody's wife. I knew I just didn't want to be somebody's girlfriend. No. Girlfriends was a show. I'm not going to be your girlfriend. I want to be your wife. I just need to find the right person to be. Hey, Pete, that's my brother. Talk to you later. I knew I wanted to be someone's wife. I knew I didn't want to be someone's girlfriend forever. I'm not knocking nobody, because what works for you works for you. I knew either my husband's going to be in for the long haul, or he was just going to be a time waster after 6 months. We was going to cut that thing. Hearts may hurt, but we're going to keep it moving because someone else is out there for me. That is the way I thought. 6 months came. Now, I'm not going to say he got down on his knees and it was all mushy and I cried. No, I ain't going to lie and tell y'all that. I'm going to tell y'all, we was sitting watching TV one day and we was watching Saw. Anybody remember Saw, the horror movie? We was watching Saw. I think it was the 3rd one. And he was like, I can't remember what happened in Saw, but he turned around, he was like, I guess I'll marry you. I said, you guess? He was like, I wanted to be single for a little while longer. I said, well, you can't be single here with me. I said, you are welcome to be single any place else you want to be. But you just can't be single with me. I can't have that. He just wasn't going to be single with me. And that's just the way I felt. That's the way Robin felt. You can't be single with me. You have to marry me. You have to make me happy as I'm going to make you happy. 6 months later, we started planning a wedding. A little over a year, we got married, had a beautiful reception. Me and my husband, and it's working out. Now, I'm not going to tell y'all every relationship that works, because I know some relationship, it may take a little longer, because you may feel you need to know, that person. That's you. I don't judge anyone. I don't say anyone, but you need to make sure you are likable and approachable for a relationship. And you need to make sure the person that you marry, you need to make sure how they treat you is the way you would treat yourself. If you want shit in your own mouth, you shouldn't allow nobody else to shit in your mouth. If you won't beat yourself up, that's another topic that I've been getting hit with emails about. You shouldn't allow no one to beat you up. If you want, and I'm not saying your relationship or your marriage is going to be perfect, because baby, me and my husband, we're not perfect by a long shot. But my good outweighed my bad. And I always tell people, it is 80% good and 20% bad. So I can deal with the bad when it comes, because the good is so strong and so powerful and it's so much. So that's where we weigh in at. My good outweighs my bad with my husband. Because no one is perfect. No relationship is perfect. You are two people who trying to learn each other, still learn each other after years. Me and my husband will be celebrating 10 years, June 15th. We are still learning each other. It's certain things I don't like when my husband brushes his teeth. And every morning it gets on my nerve. He's been doing it all this time. Just deal with it. So you have to make sure that what you would do to yourself, that's the type of person you need to make sure you get with. That person that would do to you what you would do to yourself. So if you respect yourself, that person needs to respect you. One thing I've learned, if a person do not respect themselves, they can't respect nobody else. And I keep hearing this song in my mind. If you don't respect yourself, ain't nobody gonna give a good to who? That's my song, y'all. Respect yourself. But I just had to give y'all a little bit of that. But if you do not respect yourself, no one else is going to respect you, because respect comes from you first respecting yourself on what you will tolerate. I'm telling you, I have seen people so disrespectful in relationships, and I always go back to they don't respect themselves. Excuse me. They do not respect themselves. That's why they can't respect anyone else. And it's not how you was raised. No, no, no. Because I met some people who was raised in some dope fiend situation parents. But they are so respectful. They respect themselves. They are doing great in life. And I have met people who have been raised in privilege. And they are disrespectful to themselves, to their spouses, to their girlfriends, whomever they are with. They are disrespectful. So you have to respect yourself. And one thing in a relationship that I am really, really, really a strong advocate of. You never let the person you with disrespect your parents. I don't care if your parents is a crackhead. You never, 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 never let them disrespect your parents. That is the person who gave birth to you. And however you feel about them, you never let another person on earth disrespect your parents. Maybe I'm saying that because Mass is dead, but the people I would never disrespect my parents. So, they never did. Anybody I ever dated, they love, anybody know me from Damon, love my mama. Everybody love mommy. So you never let someone disrespect your parents, because that is a reflection in the future of how they're going to treat you 10 times worse. You're going to look up and you're going to say, you know what? I let him curse my mom out, and guess what? This ninja or this heifer is cursing me out because you allowed that. You didn't show yourself value. You didn't show them, no, you're not going to do that. Or even with you, some words should not be spoken out of a relationship mouth. Some words. Oh, if you plan on being with that person tomorrow, don't you call the police. Don't get these police in your business, in your relationship. One thing else and a lot of people might not agree with me. Before I married my husband, me and my husband didn't believe in going to get counseling. No. See, it's me and my husband. It's what we decided that goes on in our household. So we didn't allow the third party to come in and tell us how our relationship should be, because everybody's relationship is different. So me and my husband, we decided what we was going to do in our marriage. Some people believe in going to get marriage counseling at their churches or from a counselor. Me and my husband didn't believe in that. It was me and my husband who decided we wanted to marry each other. So it's me and my husband. My daughter hates when I say it like that. And I know she probably gonna watch. Me and my husband decided the type of relationship we're gonna have under our roof. Some of my friends, I couldn't even tell them certain things because I don't want to hear your judgmentalness. I don't want to hear you judge my relationship. And I'm just venting to a girlfriend or venting to a boyfriend because I have a guy who's meant friends. We're friends forever. My husband understands that. He don't mind. But sometimes when I vent, I don't need you to tell me your dislike in my husband or your dislike in the person's girlfriend or wife. You just be a listening ear for a person in a relationship. Everybody, I don't care who they are, I don't care how close you and your friend is, should not know all your business in your relationship with you and your man. And I'm saying it for the women, or have you, woman, man, have it is. They should not know all of your relationship. Some things are sacred. Some things are private. Some arguments shouldn't leave from under your roof. Simple as that. You have to, hey Billy, hey Don, you have to be wise. And I'm using your word, girl, wise. You have to be wise in your relationships. But you have to also date you first. That is my biggest thing in a relationship. Know your self-worth. Anybody who has spoke to me, I have said those words and I have meant it. What is your value to you? It's not the value of money. It is the value of what you think of yourself. What is your self-worth? What do you think about you? What are you willing to change to be in a committed relationship? Because I had to change a few things. I had to change me just always going out to dinner, buying me something to eat. You know, my girls had moved out. I'm just buying me something to eat. I had to change a lot. That's just one of the little minute things. But I had to change a lot of things about me. And it was for the good. And my husband had to change a lot of things about me. Hey, y'all, let me tell y'all this. When I first met my husband, he thought he shouldn't give me a present for Mother's Day. Let me tell y'all about that. My husband, it was on Mother's Day. He came to my house. And I said, Hi, he said, Happy Mother's Day. I said, where's my present? He said, you ain't my mother. Yes, it is, y'all. He said that. He never said that again, but he said that. Huh. I said, you know what? You need to get out of my house. You need to get out of my house. Because you should have walked in here with a Mother's Day present. You need to get out of my house. Guess what? My husband came back with a bad Dooney and Burke bag, honey. Because I knew my self-worth. I may not have been your mammy, mama. Okay, some of his family members watching. I may not have been your mama, but I was somebody's mother. And you are going to respect me because I respect myself enough. I don't care if my hair is standing up on my head. I know my values. I know my self-worth. I know what I bring to the table. And I didn't need a man that made buku money. Again, my prayers was only that a man would not be a rapist or a pedophile, and that he would be a great provider. I don't want to continue on with this conversation because I don't want anyone to feel like I'm stepping on their toes, like my relationship is so good, because it isn't. Sometimes he gets on my amp nerve. And sometimes I get on here. Sometimes I wake up and I look at my husband and I be like, I could have did bad all by myself. For real. And sometimes I look at him and I be like, oh, thank you, God, I'm not in the dating scene. Oh, my God, I just love it. I just love it. Yes, reality hits in. Sometimes I'm sure my husband looks at me and he probably be like, I'm tired of her. I'm about to leave. Yeah, you better get in that car, drive for a few minutes and bring your tail on back. The end. But I just want you all to know, in a relationship, there's many different relationships. But in your relationship, please be upfront. Do not try to change the horse in the middle of the race. And that means you one way in the beginning, then you change and say, well, this is the way I really was. I was just covering it up just for you. I always one of those people. I'm going to show you the real deal Holyfield me. So you won't have any shock. So you won't have a heart attack because I didn't say something out of order. Relationships can be hard. Relationships can be easy. One thing I say, they treat you how you treat yourself. That's the key to a relationship. They treat you how you treat yourself. Next time my chocolate drops,